Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our DAX analysis for today. So, yesterday actually was a fairly decent move to the upside, targeting the previous all-time high, and we got another little tail above it. Now, this is the second time this has happened this year. We get to the all-time high, and then we push just above it, and then we come crumbling back down to find structure. So this chaos towards the close of the market was based on the US and China. So firstly, the Feds kept the interest rate as is, but then they indicated that they were going to raise interest rates again. China came out and said they're reducing the interest rate. So that's kind of where the confusion is. So everybody's looking at two of the largest economies in the world and wondering what's going on. So let's forget about the noise. What we do have here from a daily perspective, if my daily will come in, is we've still got a wide-bodied range bar. So you can see tail to the upside, tails to the downside. There's the previous high. See what I'm talking about? And we're just above it. And this one was just above the previous high, which is there. Sorry, there. And that was in 2021. So we keep attacking this area, which is positive for the bulls. We are in an upward trend, so it doesn't matter which way you look at this, we're in an upward trend. We've got tails to the upside, tails to the downside here on the 8 hour. That is confusion. We've got two major levels that we are testing. Look at our oscillators, still very much overbought, 96.6 out of 100, so that's extremely overbought, which is always a warning that you don't really want to be jumping in long at the top of these moves. You want to look for the structure lower down. We don't really have structure on the 8 hour. The closest bit of structure is all the way down here, and that is around 16,121. Okay, so what does this actually mean for us? If we start drilling down through the time frames, so starting off with the 3 hour, that is barbed wire, that is confusion. We do have a pin bar offer level potential, but it's at the top of a move, so I'm going to discredit that at the moment. But keep it in the back of your mind. You're in an upward trend. It's a fairly structured channel that we're in. You can see this week has been a very structured channel. And the DAX loves channels. It really does love channels. As soon as it gets into a channel, it tends to hold those channels for a while. So that's the first thing. The only negative part here is the fact that I have the oscillators have crossed over. They haven't sort of crossed the 80, but they have crossed over and they're pointing down. So yeah, let's get into what are the levels for today. But before we do that, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and all the thumbs down button if you don't like it. I notice a lot of people, when I say I'm sitting on my hands, I get a thumbs down, which is quite interesting. But yeah, and leave us your comments. Maybe you see something that I don't, or that the rest of us don't see. Sharing is caring, as they say. So down to the 1 hour time frame, and you can see the move was here. I'll get to that on the lower time frame, and then we just went sideways, which is to be expected. So the morning session typically works out in favor of Europe. And then the rest of the session, we wait for the noise in the USA to come out. Oscillators are pointing down. They have separated, but often when you see this kind of thing, just want to see an example. It's not really an example, but now when when the oscillators are struggling to sort of point down, or it's a shallow incline, or decline, should I rather say. So it's just a gradual decline like this. It often refers to a range or a consolidation pattern for a break back up again. So when you when you separate like this, you can see how these oscillators separated and they drop quickly, steep decline. You're looking for the next bit of structure to buy into. So similar kind of setup here, but often this is just a range. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And remember, these things are not something to take trades off. They're called indicators for a reason. They just give you an indication of what might be going on. You need to pay attention to your levels. Levels, support and resistance are the most important bits of structure that you will ever trade in your life. Okay, down to the 15 minute. Let's just start with what the entry was here. And I'm going to do this there. So that was the structure. You can see how we tested it. Then we had this big engulfing bar that broke through. So you could have waited for a pullback, but in my view, that was a 50-point risk, and this all-time high was definitely on the card. So it was 50 points to 86 points. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. So there was definitely a very strong breakout there. And if you look at this on the hour, you could have even looked at the lows of the morning right here on the 55, and I'm on the 5 minute at the moment. So this is the 155 EMA. See how we just bounced around. We had a decent break here, wait for the pullback. There's a pin bar. So there was an entry there. We didn't get a bar close above it, but this bar here was a close above it. And then you had a second attempt at the level right here, which normally happens, and that was 10 minutes before 9 o'clock, which was just before the market opened. So you can see there it is there. There's your first market bar, moving averages pointing up. You know, you could have even tightened it up there, 15, 20 point stop loss for 100-point gain. So yeah, there definitely was structure there. Trend was up, and when you've got the all-time high just above you like that, it typically acts as a magnet. So anyway, that was yesterday. Let's look at today. Today, we've got a lot of data coming out today. A hell of a lot of data in actual fact. So this retest here is of interest to me. This is 16242, definitely of interest. If we pull back onto here, I'd be looking for something up, another move to test the all-time highs. But in saying that, what we're seeing here could be a setup as well. So very similar to what happened yesterday. So you can see there is the structure that we're flirting with, which is 16300. Okay, and 16300 has been a thorn in our side for quite some time. And then there's a little bit more. I'm just going to pick up a current low of the morning, which is there. Okay, well, let's just do that. So there's this previous swing low, 16280. We just dipped below, but let's just take it as a pin bar on structure. So those are the two levels I'd be paying attention to. If we do drop below 16280, I suspect we're coming to test this area here. There are 5-minute gaps on this move to the upside. So keep that in the back of your mind. If we do break through here and retest, then I would expect another move to 16334. Now, this typically happens in threes. Okay, now it's an all-time high, so I'm just going to zoom out to a 3 hour, right? So this year, we've had 2 attempts at getting through the all-time high. But I would expect another attempt, and that attempt is going to be either third time lucky or third time unlucky. We're in a channel, so at the moment the lows that we have of yesterday, as I say, are critical, because you start dropping below that, you drop below this tail of this hanging man or pin bar, whichever way you want to look at it, and that's going to be a little bit bearish, because it'll more than likely trigger a break of the range, and your target for that is going to be the start of the range, which is this tail here. So you're going to be targeting this area here at 16121. So that is the structure that is forming. But if you look at this, you've got rejection, 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 and then buys. Barbed wire, confusion, trend is up. I'm expecting another move at the all-time high. Now, if you get a 3-hour close above the all-time high, watch out. There's nothing to the left that's going to stop it. So you're going to have some really explosive moves to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm doing today. Definitely watching this very closely during the open, because there will be a quick trade, quick scalp to the all-time high, really tight stop losses. And then if we do get a break of that, remember this will be the third attempt of it on the 3 hour, although these two attempts are very close, doesn't really matter in my eyes anyway. I'd be wanting to see what happens. And you can see yesterday we had 1, 2, 3 attempts and then we failed. So 3 is a very, very important number for us in trading. Anyway, with that, I will be leaving you. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.